Hello and good morning, Commanders. I hope you all are doing very well today. The video that I am putting out today was prompted from a discussion that we ended up having in a recent online stream on Twitch, which, by the way, you all are invited to join us for the fun and just hanging out that we do there on Twitch. But we got into a discussion as I had a online conversation in Discord with a few of my friends and people I know on Discord, and this is a shout out to Grungandola, Tarpitude, and Quasel for the great conversation that we're able to have there. But we talked about the option to scrap the ISS jellyfish, and for the longest time, it just wasn't a viable option. But with all the research, the efficiency research for materials and parts in the game, it's come to the point where you can actually scrap the ISS jellyfish, with probably the biggest bottleneck being how many you can build. I currently have multiple jellyfishes just from claims over the years, I guess. But you can scrap it and start this process of scrapping future jellyfishes in order to feed you parts and resources to move you through G5 and into the G6 area. So while this is kind of talking for those preparing to go into G6 or get a 60 epic ship, personally I'm going for the Enterprise D. This is also, I think, a great discussion for those to prepare, even if you're in the G4 area, prepare and get your research up as much as you can to prepare for that. So let's go ahead and watch the clip that I grabbed from the Twitch stream, and then at the end I'll kind of give you some summary points as well. So let's hop into it because the players matter. All right, so here's just some quick calculations that I did today. So this here is where I was looking at the cost to scrap, or sorry, cost to max. So taking a jellyfish from 1 to 12, and just for the heck of it, just to show you, I actually have quite a few. There's 1, 2, 3, and I think, is that it? Okay, I thought I had 4. So I've got 3 jellyfish, and then let's look here. I can build 2 more, right? Yeah, 2 more. So that's 3, 4, 5. So I have a total of 5 I could build and scrap, although technically Grumpy's right. I'd want to keep 1 for the bro. So that's really 4 that I could scrap. So I looked at the cost, and this cost is impacted largely by research. So I went to Spock's Club. I'm trying to remember, this is the jellyfish, so taking it from tier 1 to 12. And so here's all the costs, and obviously there's titanium, dilithium. Would get me quite a few points if I were to max one. But we've got gas, ore, you've got ship parts, the whole thing, right? And then if you go down here, it's got all these build bonuses, and you can look at it for those who haven't come to Spock's Club before, and you can look at all the research that goes into this. Some I've maxed, some I haven't. Okay, and so that all goes into this right here. So the premise, or the thing I'm trying to kind of go after here, is if I had all the resources to build one, what would it cost me? And then after I scrapped it, what would I get back with a net total? Now, this does not include how much I currently have. This is only saying how much I get from maxing one and scrapping one. There's obviously a deficit here in 4-star common explorer parts, which can be paid for with latinum if you have lots of latinum, which I don't exactly want to spend the latinum, not for that many parts. And as I'm talking, Moose, if you have stuff to add in, if you've done this as 60 plus, you may have already done this, or anyone else, then I'd love your input too. So anyways, I've come to the conclusion that if I scrap a USS Enterprise, if I can scrap some of those, they give 446,000 Common Explorer parts. So that may be a way to get this done. Yep, that was my thought too. So I currently have the multi-tiered ship part prime to tier 5. I have that and the material one both at tier 5. And for those who may not know about this, just a reminder, I believe that's in station. Just looking at today, so I should remember. So it's these ones right here. So I've got almost enough to take it to tier 6. I'm debating whether I should do this one though, and I'll kind of see as we go. So maybe I should have left that there. But I can at least get started. So I'm starting to scrap some, and that's why I was hitting in Yarda today, as Floyd saw me and was hitting me, slowing my progress. So I'm going to get back to that thought because I have a question for you, Moose, just to kind of explain all this. So I obviously want to lower the ship part cost here. And this, it sounds like, wow, you are multitasking, Floyd. It seems like I want to lower the ship part cost for sure. And it will translate, I believe, as I'm going up into the G5 as I look at the Enterprise D, for example. Interesting thing here is I don't have enough common gas, but I have millions of it, so it doesn't matter for that and the common ore. As you're going through 4-star, you get a lot of that eventually. So I have lots that save. So I don't mind these two being negative. The uncommon gas and the uncommon ore, I'm getting quite a boatload of that. Well, I shouldn't highlight. This should be like hold down control, Crane Admiral Hunter. So those two I'm getting plenty of. It's the rare gas that I'm not quite meeting. Ooh, that is a good point. So here's what I'd like to kind of get your feedback on, Moose, and anyone else that is kind of curious. I see by doing this that I get extra parts because I am getting more uncommon and rare. More than when I scrap, I get more than it costs to max one, so that's no problem there. The other benefit here looks like it's that you get a bunch of uncommon gas and uncommon ore that you may be able to use for other 4-star things. I'm not quite at 4-star. I'm in the 5-star, and so I'm trying to think, what does a 5-star person need to get out of this? The benefit I see here is that you're then able to take this 4-star stuff potentially and invest that maybe in a 4-star rare ship and then max that. So I probably need to add that analysis here. So start investing in the G5 or G4 rare to scrap for G5 materials would be my guess. But this G4 rare and ore, I could see a benefit of getting more rare stuff here, but I think this needs to at least be positive before I jump down this rabbit hole. Stop going Darno? Is that like Darnock? Gotta find a strategy here that makes sense, right? So anyways, my thought here is maybe not doing this until I get enough rare gas and ore research to make this make sense. So here's the question for you, Moose. Do you think it would make sense for me to get this to 0 before I start scrapping jellies? Let's see here. So if we go to Spock's Club, and if we adjust, which one is it again? I think this is ship engineering. If we take that to 6, let's see what that does. Okay, so that's going to affect not my materials, right? But it's going to affect, let's see, common gas. Okay, then what do we have here? Common ore. I'm just going to do everything. Because I'm a completionist. So uncommon ore. Well, it's really dropping it. So uncommon gas. Ooh, look at that. That's a big savings. Okay, now the big key is going to be what the rare does to it. So rare gas. Ah. And we're positive. All right, let's see where the rare ore puts us. Barely positive. Okay, so probably what makes sense for me and thinking about others as they look at this is, was it make it net positive? And what's the point for you, Moose, as far as this go? What is the point of doing this jelly loop? Is it because the biggest thing that I would be getting here is the uncommon ore and the uncommon gas and the parts, because I'm not really making headway on the force, like the rare stuff. Let's see here. So your thought, go to tier 6 and maybe even keep them until tier 7. Yeah, I think I would really like to be able to get some rare stuff out of this. Although the parts are a bottleneck, I think, for some of the G4 rare ships that as I've come across them. So okay, so let's see here. Grumpy, you're saying, isn't there a scrapping thing? Are you talking about scrapping thing? Maybe you can help me understand more. I don't know exactly what you're asking about. I know there's different research for helping with scrapping speed. I believe there's a worksheet out there for scrapping, maybe. Is that maybe what you're talking about? All right, so Floyd, you're saying that the PMC won't work well. It sounded like from Beck's video that they were going to be 10 rounds, and so I'm guessing you'll need to be able to take them out quickly, would be my thought. So you max, let's see, Moose, max a jelly, use all that to then max a coronar. Scrap the coronar to put towards your Enterprise D. All right, I do have a coronar, not very high tiered, so that is an option to continue. Let's see. So you scrap 3 coronars for your Enterprise D. I wonder if I'll have to look at that. That's a good thought. Because I would imagine you could scrap some others or level some other ships. And that would make sense. I was struggling with parts for like my pylum, but that was interceptor stuff. But I bet with the Jelly Brawl and with everything else in game, probably have enough to do at least 1 coronar. A scrapping research to get more mats. Not one that I'm familiar with. I wonder if there would be anything here. Is that all? Orbital scrapping, I think, is just the speed. Oh, does it not say a description? There we go. Increases base scrapping speed. I think scrapping speed increases base scrapping speed. Not one I'm familiar with. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so JP is agreeing. No, it's only for speed. Let's see. Moose says that, or put the 4-star towards Enterprise A and max that and scrap it when you get the D. It's interesting. I actually also did an analysis here on scrapping the Enterprise A. This is scrapping a max Enterprise A. Mine is currently tier 9. And it's interesting, scrapping that gets you plenty of parts. It would give me enough parts for the rare and the common. Uncommon, I'm a little shy on as far as, this is just once again comparing scrapping to total cost. But I probably have some other stuff. Uh-oh, Dav, are you getting attacked? Oh, no. What? Well, that sucks, doesn't it? He still hasn't found me, Dav, for whatever it's worth. But at least you're at 3,000 points. It's funny, Dav, that he actually took out my fortunate. What the heck's up with that? And they just wiped everyone, even if they're surveys, it looks like. All right, we'll do this. We'll just send it back out. Yeah, Moose, come on. Can you take out his 10, almost 11 billion cube? We're going to need like an Enterprise E for that, I think. Ouchie! There we go. Nice to have friends in high places. Oh, Warhammer. Let's see what he's got. Is that maxed? Ah, close. Tier 11. Got my eyes set on that. Ooh, and he's got the Tantalus field. Yikes. Yeah, they do have a level 70 player. I've seen him, he was auto-grinding his Enterprise E in Texas space the other day. Come on, come and get me. Come and get me. Come and get me, you coward. Chase me down. Yep. Wallet Warriors, right? Right, Dav? Okay, so you guys have that TC for sure, but so I'm sure on uncommon parts, but once again, this is just comparing what I get from scrapping to what it costs to max a D. So just quick calculation, there's obviously a lot of 5-star stuff that you wouldn't get just comparing the two, but the big thing here that this highlights is how much you can actually get in parts. Plenty of parts. So yeah, plenty of parts. I think the uncommon I already have some, but hopefully by scrapping, see, you get, oh, this is 4 stars. You'd have to do the 5 stars. So I'll have to look at like scrapping a coroner and see what that gets. Yeah, Ray's gonna come along sooner or later. It's their jam. Yep, Tantalus Field. So, anyways, I guess the point of this exercise for me, and I you know, I might make a video about it, just to kind of talk about it. but I was trying to figure out the cost versus scrapping. What's the whole methodology here? Because I'm not even, or wasn't even breaking even. Hopefully, as soon as I can, if I keep focusing on like X-Borg, getting dolomite particles there, section 31, stuff like that, then hopefully I'll be able to get this. So these are positive. But I wonder if I should hold off until I can get rare out of this, or if I should just wait until this is positive and then start doing it. Yep, I definitely want to get a D. So I already have the credit save for it. So that's the real, I guess, question here is, should I hold off on doing this until I have more mat and part research, which is going to be a pain because that's going to take some time. However, okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Trying to get a gain out of this is better than not, probably. I mean, getting a lot of uncommons and still netting positive with the Explorer parts, but not quite there. DJ said max it before scrapping. Yep, and that's what I would do, obviously. But oh, do you mean maxing the research? Because there's no way in Hades that I'm going to be maxing that research. It's just not happening. I would love to. Interesting. Where was that again? So, I mean, I'd have to look at the costs, I guess. It'd be sweet if I could get these max, but just the cost on that and the time. Good thing is that we'll have to see how it goes over the next few months, maybe. But I was an idiot and went in this top row, but if I'd gone the bottom row, there's material efficiency down here. There's ship parts efficiency. There's also right here, ship part efficiency, parts efficiency. Wasn't there? Oh yeah, uncommon ship part efficiency right here. So there's lots of efficiencies. Oh, Floyd, you're talking about the jelly? Yep. Well, I just don't want to waste my jellies either, so that's a good conversation to have about an appropriate time to do it. All right, I hope that was helpful and insightful to you all. Let me kind of give some main points as I have kind of been learning through the process. As we talked about in the video, pulled up a spreadsheet there. Let me pull that up once again for you all. And let me, I'll try and scroll up my head out of the way. That'll probably be the easiest. So essentially what we're looking at here, zoom in a little bit, there we go. So cost to max, scrap results on net, and I left this with the increase if I was able to get my prime material efficiency to 6. And so it's an interesting analysis that you can actually do yourself, or you can just take my word for it, I suppose. But essentially, I'll just about break even with the rare gas and rare ore by scrapping one, and how much it will cost me to invest in the next one. So obviously, the more you have, the better. I have found that as I've tried, because I think the idea here, kind of the loop, once again, is that you want to scrap probably 2 jellyfishes because you need the parts to keep the loop going. But essentially, you want to be able to get enough rare parts to feed other things, as well as rare materials to feed other things. As you can tell, personally, I'm not quite breaking even, or I'm pretty darn close. So I think where you're going to see the most efficiency for this, based upon the conversations I had in Discord and combined with my own analysis here, is probably when you get the rare or get the prime efficiencies up to tier 7. Now that's going to take some time, going to take some doing, but that is kind of where you want to aim for your things to be. And the goal is that you're scrapping those jellyfishes to give you the parts you need and the resources you need, so you can then invest it in another, say, a rare G4 ship, or even like the Enterprise A, as we talked about. You know, if you have an epic ship that you can invest in to translate that. And I think this works probably best because you're getting the rare, like, Explorer parts if you're going to be getting the Enterprise D, but you can still get things through this loop to help you with other things you may need as you're moving up. So the advantage that I've talked to players is they've scrapped multiple rare G4 ships with this loop. So they scrap the jellyfishes to give them the parts that they need and the resources that they need. For example, if I look at my Enterprise right now, tier 8, and right now, what are some big bottlenecks? It looks like I have a decent amount of ore, but I'm going to run out of this G4 rare ore here pretty darn quick, so we'll help with that. And I haven't hit the rare, I think, bottleneck yet with the parts, but that's going to come, I'm sure, in the next couple of tiers. And so what advantage does this have? Well, this is going to help me scrap max and scrap ships like this that I can then feed into other ships, or as I go up, hopefully in the next few months, be able to go to 60. So, well, and I say that because I don't know what 59 to 60 is going to be like. But once I do get to 60 and I'm able to build the Enterprise D, that I'll have enough parts to take it up a decent way. Probably not enough materials. That would be like a fool's wish, right? But that would be the goal. So looking at research once again, if we hop into the research tree, the things to focus on are going to be prime efficiency ship engineering. You see 160 to 300 is 140% jump, but I think the big jump is from the other 150 getting to tier 7. So I'm close on getting these to getting one of these to 6. Parts is going to be really important. I think that's going to be probably a huge bottleneck, especially the rares that you may run into. But one other thing that we can mention here is not to forget the mirror research. So you've got things like uncommon ship material efficiency, and I'm working on some of that, but there's a lot of prerequisites here that I'm working on. What else here? Uncommon ship parts efficiency right here. Any ship part efficiency you can get is going to be helpful. Then there's some epic stuff here, and before you be an idiot like me and go on this top row, I'd highly recommend going in this bottom row here. You're gonna have ship materials efficiency right here, and these are hard to get. The premium dust, right? But that's hard to get. But then you have ship parts efficiency here as well. Look, that's 40%, 40, 60, 90, 120. So you can get a few tiers on this. That's going to really help you out. And then obviously there's some good stuff down here, like this one here for your station. But for making this loop work, kind of focusing on those efficiencies for parts and materials will be really helpful for you as you're trying to kind of go through this. So, it's possible, if you can get to some of that research, that you might be able to do this with having those primes that we just looked at maybe tier 6. I would recommend kind of doing your own calculation, and if you're not into that, I would say hold off till tier 7 for sure. But you want to have enough where you're not, I don't think, just breaking even. I think you need to be able to get it where you're getting a decent amount back so you can continue the loop. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully it gives you all some plans, some things you can look at of how you can take your jellyfish and turn that into ship parts and resources for furthering your game. Hopefully you're in an alliance where you can actually, and I'll show this to you as well, okay, for those who don't know, where is that again? I believe it's territory. There we go, territory. So hopefully you're in an alliance where every so many days you can actually turn in for jellyfish prints. And then also, I've started pulling this again, but if you go into the alliance store, you will have in this, I think it's this Epic Armada pack right here, but you can actually pull for jellyfish prints, among other things. And so if you're getting enough of those Epic credits and you want to spend a little bit to keep getting some more jelly prints to keep the loop going, then that is probably a good option for you to consider as well. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully it gives you some insight. Like I said, even if you're not quite to the G5, G6 area, that you can work on the Dolomite, which I've talked about in a number of videos, but let me just touch base really quick on that. If you go into your factions, there's so much to each loop, isn't there? All these little things. But the greatest source you're going to have is as you get your NX01 and you're doing your turn-ins, you'll get enough of these epic credits to pull these consistently. And this one, if you do a double pull, which I was trying to do a double pull, it will give you, what, 2 times that, so you'll get 40 from there, which doesn't sound like much, but you just want to keep chipping away at it. And here you'll get 60. So 60 and the 40 is 100 every, was it 4 or 5 days? so it's going to add up. You just something you have to keep chipping away at. And then in Spy Master, or sorry, I read that there, in section 31, which I am a Spy Master apparently, you can get 10 Dolomite particles a day. Once again, not much, but it adds up. So any chance you have to get more Dolomite particles, including finishing your Voyager field training, make sure you do that. It will impact your game, and invest those in the primes. I would probably lean towards investing in the parts one first. I think it'll get you the biggest bang for your buck because parts are so hard to get. And just get whatever parts you can in the game. There's a lot of sources that they've added to the game, including the Viscerator, which we haven't unlocked yet, but hopefully you all are free to play. Hopefully you all are making some good progress on that. So anyways, once again, hopefully this is helpful, and we will talk to you next time.